Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. Brian Winnekins from the NAFB convention. And thank you to our broadcast sponsors, including Alcivia Co-op, Annabis Silo, Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, and Compeer Financial. And this morning joining us, Lori Stevermer. She is the National Pork Producers Council immediate past president. We're maybe going to talk about a lot of bacon. Everybody's favorite. You bet. And we're going to talk about some of the things going on with the pork industry as well. Lori, thanks for joining us this morning. One of the biggest issues that's been the pork industry's had to deal with here over the last few years is California Proposition 12. And that is something that the lawsuit lost in the Supreme Court. And so now we have to try and find a way to either A, work with this, or B, have Congress say, no, wait a minute, this is a commerce issue, not a state issue, so it's got to be federal. Where are we at with that?
Yeah, great question. I mean, it's been the topic of my whole time on the board. And, as a refresher, the Supreme Court said it was a challenge. It was Congress's challenge to fix. So what we've looked at is the Farm Bill as a vehicle for that fix, that federal solution, the federal preemption to Prop 12. And so many of the Farm Bill programs were part of the One Big Beautiful Bill. We're hoping there's still going to be a skinny Farm Bill. Chairman G.T. Thompson has been supportive of that. I know the challenge is that the days are getting fewer and fewer that could happen, but still looking at a skinny Farm Bill for that legislation. Really, we're concerned about the patchwork of regulations. If it's California Prop 12, Massachusetts Q3, and other states, standards that are slightly different. So causes some uncertainty for our farmers. We're really hoping we can get a solution yet.
And this is something that doesn't just affect pork producers either, because, okay, we start with pork. Well, next time it's Wisconsin dairy farmers, you must do this.
That's a great point. And I would say initially we didn't get much attention from the other ag groups because they just viewed it as a pork issue. But they're starting to realize now that it could impact them. So you're absolutely right. I mean, it could be Wisconsin dairy farmers next.
Talking with Lori Stevermer. She is the immediate past president with the National Pork Producers Council. You mentioned the Farm Bill. Each day we get closer to 2026 and the midterm elections means another day closer to nothing happening in Congress. Is that a concern?
I would say it is a concern. I mean, we want our Congress people to work for us. That's why we elect them to go there to make decisions. And so certainly during that shutdown, it was frustrating. And we didn't get a lot of our reports, our trade reports and some things like that. Fortunately, we were able to get our daily pork prices. We kept that going. But, we need Congress to work for us.
Meanwhile, the beef industry, of course, they're watching very closely the New World screwworm issue in Mexico, but there are some hog issues here that pork producers are having to watch on that animal disease side.
Yeah, and actually that New World screwworm could affect pigs, right? We talk about those cattle in the southern states. Could those get into feral pigs? So while it's more of a beef concern, still something that we're watching in terms of pork. Our staff is having conversations with, officials too to understand, if you stop beef movement, that's one thing. If you stop pork movement, that's something entirely different. Disease prevention and preparedness, traceability, those have been key issues and key programs for us as the pork industry.
I know, Lori, some of the farm groups have, especially on the livestock side, and even National Farmers Union and some of the other agriculture groups have welcomed the situation with the beef issue of looking at the four largest meat packers. Has there been collusion and that thing? It seems like it's always just been more geared towards beef, at least initially here. But is there another side of this for pork as well with those four packers?
Well, there is concern, because the pork industry is different than the beef industry. And if you actually look over the last 10 years or so, we've become less consolidated. We've got some new producer-owned packing plants that have come online. So certainly don't want to get lumped in with everybody like beef. And so it's important to remember that our industry is different.
And the other, has there been a surprise at least? And again, this might be an economic issue has the board talked about the surprise that in a normal market, beef goes up? Okay, well, pork the other white meat, then okay, if beef prices go up, their demand will go down. Pork demand should go up because people just will naturally switch, but they haven't. And has there been has the board been going, what's going on here?
Well, yeah, and certainly the National Pork Board deals more with those domestic issues as part of their promotion and research and education mission. But I think for all of us that are involved with agriculture, you would think that if beef prices went up, um, people are going to switch to pork. And what we're finding, and Dr. Glenn Tonzer at Kansas State has done a lot of research, is that that's not necessarily a natural occurrence. Individuals often switch within a category. So maybe they're not buying steaks, but they're buying ground beef. I would say also that pork is a great buy, and some of our retailers have been using that as a margin maker for them because of beef being expensive. I think the other thing I've heard more of is this combination of ground pork and ground beef. So in some of the supermarkets, you're seeing more of that. I mean, a few years ago, Pork Board did a great campaign with ground pork. We're seeing many more retailers handle ground pork, but now a combination of a ground pork and ground beef that kind of keeps that price point down and allows people to start to taste pork a little bit more.
I will tell you that at the Dunn County Fair, at the 4-H stand, they actually sell a hamburger pork patty together with cheese, and it is awesome. I always, when I'm at the Dunn County Fair, I get at least one or two of those when I'm there, and that's the only fair that does that. But you have a beef patty and a pork patty all in one, and it's add the cheese, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, and it supports all the industries, right?
Exactly,
Beef, pork, dairy, so it's a win for everyone.
Exactly. Lori Stevermer, she is Media Past President of National Pork Producers Council from the NAFB Convention in Kansas City. I'm Brian Winnikins for WRDN.